Hebrews, Hebrews, Hebrews. This is Prophets of Awakening. This is our Israelite Advanced Bible Study night, 20th of August, 2024. Okay. The title inside the room, we'll be dealing with Ahab's reign over Israel. Okay. You can go to our YouTube channel, The Prophets of Awakening. Check out our videos. We have over 1,000 or so videos that you can check out. Okay. These videos will connect dots for you, lead you to the truth of the Holy Scriptures. And if you like what you're hearing and receiving, I'm asking you to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. It'll be greatly appreciated. Now, if you want to support the channel, you got our Cash App down at the bottom of the screen. It'll be greatly appreciated. Okay. And with that being said, we have different times during the week that we're on. If you want to check us out, so Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 7 to 9 Central Time, p.m. Or we on, and then on Friday nights we're on Clubhouse, and that's from 7 to 9 also. And the room title of the room is Non-Messianic Conversations. And then we have 2 Shabbat classes, one in the morning from 10 to 12 Central Time, a.m. Then we have a evening Shabbat class from 6 to 7. That's p.m. Central Time. Okay. So with that being said, for those that don't know, this is a non-Messianic channel. By that I mean we deal with the Tanakh and the Torah. Excuse me. Tanakh being the Old Testament, so-called Book of Remembrance, and the Torah is the first 5 books of the Old Testament that was given to Moses by the Lord of Hosts, our Redeemer. Okay. Shalom and welcome to this channel, and welcome to our Israelite Advanced Bible Study. Okay. We're going to do our normal, which is a moment of silence, prayer, Psalms. Then we have current events, a little need to know information, and then we'll go into our Q&A and our dialogue. Then we'll deal with we start reading out of the book of First Kings, dealing with the story of Ahab and all that happened with him during his reign in Israel over the 10 tribes. Okay. So this moment of silence is for the Lord of Hosts. All that he's doing to bring about our prophesied deliverance in these last days. Oh Lord, we come this day praising thee, worshiping thee with thy might and thy power and our great understanding. Oh Lord, in times that you have foretold unto us, our fathers, or upon us. Oh Lord, give us strength and wisdom to endure all that you have foretold. Oh Lord, we need you so very much in these latter days, when we will tarry and depend upon you, oh Lord, because there is none else besides you. You are our deliverer and our redeemer. Peace be unto you. Okay. We'll read the Psalms. Okay, I'll read Psalm 4. It's an evening prayer of trust in God. The Psalm of David. It said, hear me when I call, O God, of my righteousness. Thou hast enlarged me when I was in distress. Have mercy upon me and hear my prayer. O ye sons of men, how long will you turn my glory into shame? And how long will you love vanity and seek after blessings? Selah. But know that the Lord hath set apart him that is godly for himself, and the Lord will hear when I call unto him. Stand in awe and sin not. Commune with your own heart upon your bed, and be still. Selah. Offer the sacrifice of righteousness, and put your trust in the Lord. There'll be many that say, who will show us any good? Lord, lift up the light of thy countenance upon us. Thou hast put gladness in my heart, more than in the times that their corn and their wine increased. And I will both lay me down in peace and sleep. For thou, Lord, only maketh me dwell in safety. So that was a song of David. So what I want to shine light on in this psalm is uh, verses 4. It says, we'll start at verse 3. This is David. So like I said, who you want to listen to, David, or you want to listen to Peter and Paul and all them. Verse 2 says, David talking, O ye sons of men, how long will you turn on my glory and the shame? How long will you love vanity and seek after leasings? Then it says, verse 3, but know that the Lord have set apart him. Check it out. Know that the Lord has set apart him that is godly for himself. The Lord will hear when I call. So David's letting him know, because he's keeping those high statutes and his judgments and got him on his heart. The Lord hear him when he called, and not only that, he's set apart. And then verse 4 says, and this is very important too, stand in awe, sin not, in this right here, commune with your own heart upon your bed and be still. Selah. So what's it telling you? Upon your bed is at nighttime, for one thing, and then be still, right? Be still and trust, and be still. It says, stand in awe, sin not, commune with your own heart in your bed, and be still. Selah. So what he's saying, he's telling you to be, that long time that you need, reflecting. When you deal with the scriptures, you got to find time to reflect on what you heard and what you read or whatever. You got to. That's just reading it and hearing it is one thing, but you got to let it ferment and you got to reflect on it. Most of the time, matter of fact, all the time, that's when you're being taught. When you start doing reflecting, like he said, put it on your heart. Okay. So, anybody have any comments on that? Okay. So we'll go to some current events. Says, this right here, this first event right here is Perry Stone talking about it, right? But the thing about it is, I got videos on this, and I've said it over and over again. And these are one of the things that when you hear me talking about that's soon to come, and this is one of the things that's going to be the nail in the coffin to bring this place down. So if you ain't got it wrapped around your mind, you're gonna be feeling a certain type of way when you go down. Disregard the JC thing and all that. We just gonna deal on the meat.
Well, folks, it happened again. I didn't expect it to happen. I didn't have it on my mind. I wasn't watching a movie that had a tsunami in it. And let me begin by explaining this. If you have kept up with our YouTube channel for probably the past 6 years or longer, you have observed that from time to time, I will have a very detailed, vivid, clear, full color dream. And occasionally I would say that they have been visions from time to time of tsunamis striking coastal areas of the United States. And recently I had one that was so clear, it was as though I were in it, living through it, living in it at the moment. And that's the one that I want to share with you. The first thing we have to understand is Jesus made a statement in Matthew that as it was in the days of Lot and Noah, so will it be at the time of Genesis 6, 7, and 8. Lot in Genesis 18, 19. If we want to look carefully at the word studies in the Hebrew language, at the statements that are made in the narrative itself, of the numbers that are mentioned, in fact, many, many numbers are mentioned in the story of the flood of Noah, then we will have clues that will reveal to us parallel events that are going to happen prior to the return of the Messiah. How does a tsunami fit into the story of the days of Lot and Noah? Well, it doesn't fit into the days of Lot whatsoever, because in the days of Lot, brimstone fell. It's possibly a volcanic eruption that decimated the entire 4 of the 5 cities of the plain south of the Dead Sea. In the story of Noah, however, water is involved, and water is involved coming from 2 directions. Genesis chapter 7 and verse 11 tells us that when the moment of the flood came, the fountains of the deep were opened. The fountains of the deep were opened. Now, for them to be opened, there had to be a cracking of the earth, and it's very possible there were massive earthquakes that came the moment that the flood was coming. And what happened is the fountains, I looked up the Hebrew word fountains, and it can mean a well, deep water wells. It can also refer to the word that we use today as an aquifer, which is where the water table is underneath the crust of the earth at different layers. So what happens is it begins to break apart, and that water just comes out from underneath the ground. And then it says that the windows of heaven were open, and that is a phrase in the Hebrew for a great deluge of water coming in the form of rain. So rain is coming from above and from beneath. Now, how I interpret that, there was rain in the heaven. I interpret that as the hurricanes that come off the coast of Pacific Ocean, Atlantic Ocean, wherever it might be, and they come inland and they dump a lot of rain and water on population centers. Then I picture the tsunami as being the imagery in Genesis 7:11 of how the fountains of the deep were broken up and that water came out. So we're going to have, in the time of the end, extreme weather patterns. Now, some would call it climate change, some would refer to it as global warming, but it is simply birth pains of the heavens and birth pains on the earth according to Scripture. Birth pains of the Messiah is how some of the rabbinical sources would interpret it.
Yeah, so the reason I was playing that was, like I said, I have videos already on this, and not only that, they have it on the money. Like I said, on the last $100 bill, they have, when you take it and fold it a certain type of way, you don't really have to fold it, but when you turn it a certain type of way, the artists or whoever the graphic designer or whatever that did all this, when you turn it a certain type of way, you can see water, 100-foot waves coming over to New York City. And you can even see on the money where the buildings is water halfway up the buildings, and you can see the building that's above the water reflecting on the water. But like I said, the way they do things, they do everything subliminally, and you're not paying attention to it, because you're caught up in this world and the things they done and caught up in money, and you don't even pay no attention to it. For example, I was watching a show the other day. They had like a town hall meeting for the black folks in Chicago before the convention. They had it on Sunday. The convention started Monday, and they was telling how the brother was explaining how on the dollar, on the $5 bill, all the money, but on the $5 bill and the $1 bill, it says note. It's a note. So it's not even, what I'm saying? It's not even for. And another thing he said, which tied to what I just said, is that when it says "We the People" on the Declaration of Independence, or whatever you want to call it, the Constitution, it says "we," and he was breaking down what that "we" means. It was 39 families there when they wrote that "we" is talking about those 39 families. So you go back to the note for us. The note ain't for them. It's for them. Progress for them, those 30 families and the people that came from those 39 families to progress. Everything else is lower class. And then, like he was saying, silver is greater than gold. The silver is for them. Gold is for the middle class. The note is for the average everyday person. Let that find me. Well, anyway, so on the money, it's already telling you they got it. They had on the money. They had engraved on the money. When the Oklahoma City bombing was happening, it was on the money that we use every day. So that's all. That's like written in stone. You know what's gonna happen if they put it on the money. They already got it planned out. It's gonna happen. So that money, it happened. It was on the money for the Oklahoma City bombing. It was on the money for the 9/11, and they got one they call now the water event, which is just tsunami that's coming. And another way, I think it's the $50 bill. That last $50 bill, you turn it a certain type of way, and it has incinerator device, which is actually a nuclear device going down in the water, which is in the Atlantic. So whereas he's saying, I mean, you can take it what I'm saying for a grain of salt, whatever you want to do with it. But so he's saying that it goes down. This he's thinking that creator is going to create all this. No, it's the powers that be going to create all this. We're going to put an incinerator device down in the ocean and ignite it. That's what's going to start a tsunami, and it's coming. The reason they're doing it is for one reason: send a tsunami to the East Coast. And that's what's on the dollar. That's what's on a $100 bill. If you don't know nothing about that, Google it. And it's one of the good places. One of the good places to go is End of America. Just go to YouTube and type in End of America. This guy breaking it down. I think it's something like 6 different episodes he got breaking it down. It's got that. They got the on the I think it's the $20 bill maybe. Well, the Hoover Dam. This is gonna be all that's tied together. It's gonna all happen around the same time because that's the end plan for America. Because they got something else they got planned other than that. Okay, so let that find out. You can check it out. Like I said, we have videos on the channel that's all about that. Anybody got a comment, question? Okay. Here we go.
Well, you know you have choices when it comes to home improvement products. Now that's that.
'24. It's an election year, and wouldn't you know, we are in another, drumroll please, global pandemic. Yes, this is what the World Health Organization just made an announcement about the other day, the WHO, the WHO, that we are in another global pandemic that the world must take seriously. This is the same organization that championed all of the restrictions, all of the suggestions.
Yeah, so if you ain't figured these people out yet, all this stuff coming before the election. Okay.
Quote unquote, the recommendations about what nations should do in the last pandemic, which included being separated from your family members, wearing a mask indoors and outdoors, and even taking an experimental injection that did not help prevent you from catching the you-know-what and did not help you stop transmitting the you-know-what. Yet we were told to keep on getting boosted with these experimental injections. And those who created these things are 100% not liable for any of the side effects, including myocarditis and some of these issues. But I digress. Yet this organization is the same organization that's telling us about this new global pandemic. Now, I don't want to minimize. You're seeing on your screen right now people going through this thing in places like the Congo, in Africa, and I can't imagine the horror and the suffering of what it's like to go through this scenario. But I do want to point out some things to you. I talked about this in a previous video. kind of breaking down. I'm going to give you a quick summary in a second. But the main point of this video is about this individual right here. This individual, ironically enough, is the individual who the Biden administration has listed, has hired as the deputy coordinator of the response team for the monkeypox outbreak in America. And yes, he is right here on your screen, shirtless. I will stick around to the end because I'm going to break down who this person is and why this is significant, because you need to know about this, especially in a year where you're going to be voting for the future of this country. Now, let's go back to the year 2020 when the whole previous pandemic happened. Obviously, that was the year that really shook everybody and changed everybody's lives. But this individual right here, his name's Yuval Harari. He said something that I thought was very interesting. I'm going to read this for you, and then I'm going to give you a little bit of an understanding about who this guy is. He said, after this whole thing happened, the last pandemic, I'm not going to say the name of it for YouTube's sake, is what convinced people to accept and to legitimize total biometric surveillance. Do you remember that? Do you remember how it became normal for you to rat on your neighbors if you saw them having people over at their house on Thanksgiving? Do you remember how the government was so curious about where you were going and if you got the you-know-what, and you were even supposed to carry around a card in certain cities to let establishments know that you had received the injection? This was a global marketing campaign to track people based off of their biometric activity. This was just 4 years ago. Don't forget this. And this guy on your screen right now, Yuval Harari, be familiar with this name. This guy works for the WEF, the World Economic Forum, who is also in cahoots with the World Health Organization. Why does this matter? The World Economic Forum is the same organization that is telling you and me that in the future we will own nothing and we will be happy. What does that mean? It means these people own everything, the elites own everything, and you and I are renters of everything else, and we will just be happy with this new lifestyle, this new world. The new world order is really what it is. These are the same people. Go check out the World Economic Forum website. These are the same people that are telling us that we are going to be moving off of meat and farming, and we're going to start eating bugs, and it's going to be even better for us. The insects that got this great nutrition. These are the same people that are gaslighting us into believing that a future where we don't own anything, where they can track us wherever we go, and that we're going to eat bugs and we're going to be happy about that future is going to be bright. These are the same people. And let me tell you something very spiritual about this whole thing. These are the same people, by the way, that are also interested in the potential of writing a new Bible, a new scripture. Yes, these people are interested in twisting the word of God so that we can create a religion that we can all actually agree with. Listen to what he said for himself. He said this: AI can create its own ideas, the Israeli said. He compared the development of AI with that of the printing press. The Gutenberg printing press printed as many Bibles as it was ordered to do, but it could not write a single new page. However, Harari said, AI can do that. It can even write a new Bible. How about that? According to Harari, the various religions invoke the supernatural way in which their holy book was created, meaning by God, not by man, and not by a machine made by man, be it the Bible or the Quran. Quote, he says this: in a few years, there may be religions that are actually correct, meaning they're all incorrect, he said with a smirk. Think of holy books written by AI. That could be a reality in a few years. A book that we could all agree on, so we could all have, not only just one world economy and, one world government and one world currency. Like, we can all get on some sort of cryptocurrency, have everybody have a social credit score. So, they got to be a good citizen so that they can go buy their things. And then also a one world religion with a book that that all of us can agree on. Does this sound familiar to you? Well, if you're familiar with the Bible, you would recognize that this sounds a lot like what the beast or the Antichrist is going to do what it says, for when it says in Revelation.
Yeah, I want to talk about that right quick. So they can propose it. I already mentioned this. I was telling you about AI. So they already did this before. Okay, you got these people concocted Islam, right? And they God is the God of Allah or Islam. He got his own book, Quran. You got the Buddha. He got his own book. They concocted JC, got his own book. So what makes you think they can? What right here? They already did this before. So that's why he can mention that, because they did it before. And what the people do, they just follow all that along with it. We read over in the first Maccabees, when Antioch Epiphanes came, the Antichrist came back in the day when the Israelites ran out. He came up with this. He was killing Israelites, destroying the book of the law, and the Israelites, a bunch of them, most of them, went right along what he was doing, the practices that he had came up with, and that was to not circumcise themselves no more. Don't deal with the book of the law. They said, let's go follow these people. Ever since we disconnected ourselves from them, we've been caught hell. So let's go connect ourselves with them. So it ain't nothing new. What are you talking about? All they're gonna do is what they did before. What Constantine did at the Council of Nicaea, when he turned Serapis into JC. So they had it again.
Chapter 13 about what's coming when the Antichrist sets the stage. Listen to what it says in verse 16. Actually, let's go to verse 15. He was granted power to give breath to the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause as many as would not worship the image of the beast to be killed. What does that mean?
So go back to Serapis. Didn't say nothing new. Everything you reading over there, they already did it before. That's why I can say it now. What beast? Serapis. Okay?
Creating a one world, this Antichrist spirit wants to create a one world religion that all people worship, all people bow down to, lest they become martyred for their disobedience. Verse 16 then goes on to say this: he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on their right hand or on their foreheads, and that no one may buy or sell except one who has the mark of the name, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. That number is 666, guys. This is the mark of the beast. This is like what you see in all the sci-fi movies of you have a microchip in your hand or a microchip in your forehead. You can't buy. We are partnering with the Spirit of God, and we are restraining, as it says in 2 Thessalonians, we are restraining this evil from happening. This happens by our prayers. This happens by us contending. Administration has his shirt off in almost every picture on his Instagram, unashamedly so. Well, this becomes very interesting to me for two reasons. Number one, when this thing goes down at a whole different level, what you're going to see is the mainstream media is going to gaslight you the same way that it did back in 2020 and the years after that. Do you realize how much trust was lost or should be lost from you, between you and the mainstream media and the government, because how many things they got wrong, how many things that they said recklessly about people being conspiracy theorists for questioning all of this. Lo and behold, the conspiracy theorists were right about almost everything, like the Wuhan lab leak, that masks don't work, that the injection would actually cause harm. The conspiracy theorists were actually right about all of this stuff. And go figure, going outside, eating clean food, exercising, hanging out with loved ones, that was actually a great way to make it through that whole pandemic. But I digress. You are going to get more messaging that's going to gaslight you with this new outbreak, and you better be prepared for it. One of the things that they're going to tell you is, oh, it's all a conspiracy theory that this outbreak has anything to do with the LGBT community. Mind you, a couple years ago, there was an outbreak in the United States, and they started reporting it, but then they had to squash all of the reporting on it because they realized that it was spreading because of gay pride festival orgies that were happening in California, particularly. I'm telling you, the mainstream media, they're now saying that's all fake news. That's not true. That didn't happen. But when you go to the NIH website, look at this study. The study is titled Monkeypox and Sex, Sexual Orientations and Encounters Are Key Factors to Consider. Here's the results from the study. We have seen that there are normally two ways of monkeypox transmission. However, the LGBTQ and MSM communities are disproportionately affected by Mpox infection. Very interesting. It's not like they just hired someone who's really competent in their field, who has a life behind closed doors that nobody knows about, because quite honestly, nobody wants to know what anybody's doing behind closed doors. Like, you can keep that to yourself. But what's interesting is they hired somebody who's extremely open about his lifestyle, wildly open. It's all over his Instagram profile. With this post on X.com, what you're going to see is this individual loves wearing the upside down pentagram on his shirts. He's even got it in leather underneath his suit, which obviously this is a very promiscuous outfit. For what reason? I hope, don't let your imagination run too wild, y'all, but that's what it's for. Look at the tattoos he has. He has an upside down pentagram on his chest. He's got a snake. He's got tarot card looking things. He's got Jesus, oddly enough. That's interesting. But you can tell it's probably more like a Christ consciousness, a new age picture. Why is this important? Well, I'm not going to outright call this guy a Satanist. I don't know what he's doing. And quite frankly, just so you know my heart I get about this guy, and even homie G, Yuval over here, my heart towards these guys is really as close to Jesus' heart as I could possibly.
Yeah, so if you want to check that out, it's called, the title of that video is Monkeypox, the Dark Truth Behind the New Pandemic. Okay, you want to check that out. Okay, any comments on that? Okay.
No, sir. Shalom.
Of grocery stores will close down. That is what experts are telling us, that grocery stores are a thing of the past. And now it is getting so concerning. Prices are so out of control that grocery stores can no longer stay in business. I want to break down what's going on, but there is some good news. There is one grocery store that is actually growing. I'll break that down, who this is, why they are doing so well, and what this means for you and I moving forward. But all I ask is one thing, takes 2 seconds. Go ahead, hit that like button if you enjoy these daily updates. And now let's begin. So yes, we are now hearing that grocery stores are going to start shutting down. And this is not something that should surprise us, because food prices are insane. But just look at this. According to Bloomberg, it says food companies hope you won't notice shortages are raising prices. It says between climate change, geopolitical strife, and supply chain bottlenecks, consumers better get used to a food volatility tax. Yeah, that's what we're seeing. But here's what you need to understand. These grocery stores, they are struggling to stay in business. Number one, prices continue to increase and consumers stop buying. Number two, wages have gone up and businesses cannot turn a profit as a result. Just look at this. Big Lots announced they're closing hundreds of stores after warning that it could go out of business. They are closing over 300 locations, which Big Lots is a massive store. They have a massive footprint. Every single store is tens of thousands of square feet. Guess what? These will not just sit vacant though, because there is one grocery store that is now starting to turn more heads. More people are shopping there. I shop there as well, and I'll tell you, it's saving people a boatload of money. Look at this. It says Grocery Outlet estimates savings customers $2.8 billion in 2023. And guess what? They plan on bringing more stores to your area. Look at this right here. It says Grocery Outlet is coming to Rosedale, Yeah, that was announced back in June. Well, look at this one right here. Grocery outlet is coming to Ontario. That was announced back in April. Well, doesn't stop there. Grocery outlet is coming to Orcutt. Yes, they are going everywhere. Grocery outlet is growing because consumers can't afford food. But look at this. Grocery outlet expands into Elma. That was from July 11th. Now, here's what I think is interesting. As grocery outlet, again, bargain market starts to grow. Why are they growing though? It's simple, they're saving people money. Grocery outlet is in the business of selling products that are closer to their expiration date. So instead of you buying a box of cereal and it can sit on the shelf for 4 to 5 months, and again, don't quote me on it, but I think cereal can hold for 4 to 5 months. Instead of that, they're selling cereal that will expire, or their technical expiration date, when they are told they're supposed to sell this. Well, they are selling stuff that is potentially a week, 2 weeks, a month away. In some cases, 2 to 3 months away. But in most cases, it's a very short lifespan. The product gets put on their shelf. People better buy it, because if not, they're going to lower the price. They will give you 90% off because they are going to sell the product before it hits that expiration date. Because on that expiration date, all the products are then gone. But here's what I think is interesting. Grocery Outlet plans on opening up another 60 stores in 2024. It says Grocery Outlet Holding Corp experienced year-over-year net sales growth of 6.3% to $989.8 million for the fourth quarter of 2023. But they're not done there. Look at this. It says Grocery Outlet to open 15 to 20 stores in 2024, 100 approved sites for 2025 and 2026. Yeah, they are growing. And it's because consumers cannot afford to pay full price. But listen to this, okay? A friend of mine, he actually manages it's not a large grocery store, it's a smaller little chain, but he manages this chain. And what he told me just recently was somewhat concerning. But again, I understand where he's coming from. But listen to what he had to say. He says, and I quote, "Thousands of grocery stores will close down in the next few years. I firmly believe this because we aren't competitive anymore. Prices are out of control and we can't lay off any more people. I anticipate grocery stores will be a thing of the past within the next 5 to 10 years. So a manager of a grocery chain is now saying that grocery stores will be a thing of the past within the next 5 to 10 years. But why? I wanted him to expand on this. Well, we had a little conversation, and what he said was more people are deciding to buy items online. More people are pulling up items from their phone, and they're having Walmart deliver. They're having DoorDash deliver. What's happening is people are not going to grocery stores anymore. They're picking up their phone, turning on their computer, ordering a few items, and that's it. And I know for a fact this is a new thing because I do this. I hardly ever go to a grocery store. The only store I'll go into, number one, Grocery Outlet, or number two, I'll go into Costco. And in most cases when I go into Costco, it's pretty much just to, waste time. Or there's a specific item I'm there to get, and it's usually not food related. So here's why he believes that this is going to be a thing of the past. And thousands of grocery stores will shut down. Because all these grocery stores are not going to be self-service. You could order online, then you could drive up to the store just like Walmart does, the Walmart pickup, right? So many others do it as well. But you go in, you drive up to the front, and they load all the groceries in your car, you drive off. Or you pay a little bit extra, and they will actually bring it to your house. How great is that? Where you don't even have to go into the grocery store anymore. And I know for me, whenever it comes to picking out a watermelon, I don't know what I'm looking for. I do the TikTok thing, and I tap on it and look for colors, and I have no clue what I'm looking for. But that's just me. And so I'd rather order a watermelon, somebody picks it out and knows what they're looking for, and hopefully they do pick out a good one, And again, that's just what I do. So let me ask you this. How many of you have either done the pickup at a grocery store or you've had your groceries delivered? And if it's an item like a box good, chances are I'm just going to order it off of Amazon. I'll just buy it off of Amazon, or again, Walmart, or Fred Meyer, whoever will just deliver it. That's just the way I do things.
Okay. Any comments on that? Okay. Get another one.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Well, I have some more news that a lot of folk aren't going to want to hear, especially those of you who say, look, all you talk about is negative things, Deborah. That's all you talk about. Well, I talk about reality. You can call it negative. I call it reality. You see, the handwriting is on the wall very, very clearly. This is actually a topic I've been meaning to talk about for quite some time now. Years ago, I talked about the tiny home movement and how a lot of people are moving in that direction because they have to. Now, this right here is a more serious version of that. Sleeping in your car will become more prevalent. It will become more prevalent because the handwriting is on the wall. I saw an ad that just kind of drew me in, and I said, it's a trip that they're selling something like this because they know there is and will be a market for it. I'm going to show y'all what I'm talking about, but it's a market for this because this is the reality that some people face, and it's sad, very, very sad. So, of course, when you look at the images on the screen there, you see the fellows just kind of laying up against their cars. And so I guess what I'm about to show you now would be a solution for laying up against your car. Of course, who's going to really do this, unless it's extremely hot inside of the car. They would do it if it's hot in the car and they want to get some type of relief from laying outside of the car. But I want to show you this. There's actually a market for this because things are going from bad to worse in this country. I saw a report yesterday that really tripped me out. And I may want to talk about that in a separate video, but the housing market is worse than we thought. Worse than we thought. It is a big mishmash of stuff going on. And the way this dude put it when he did his commentary on it, I said, oh my goodness, all of this is so chaotic. And it's unfortunate that a lot of people are not really looking at the handwriting on the wall. They're kind of just tracing their way through life, thinking that things are just going to just mellow out and get better. Well, guess what? According to biblical prophecy, that is not going to happen. Things are not going to get better. They're going to go from bad to worse. And so knowing how to navigate through all of this ahead of time is what we need to be doing. Anyway, let me show you this. Okay, kudos to the person who invented it, but the people who have to buy this, their story is kind of tripped out. I saw this on Temu. This is a car air mattress. It's meant to go behind the driver's seat. Look at that. Now, of course, people camping could use this, and there are other scenarios where this could be used. But the greater use or need for something such as this, because a person camping would typically sleep inside of their tent or their pod or whatever. But this right here, to me, I saw something different when I saw this. When I saw this, I saw a person actually needing this because some people do sleep in their vehicles. They do. Look at this. Like I said, it may be a good invention, maybe a great invention, but this may be an invention of necessity before too long for a lot of people. That's the sad reality faced here in this country. The sad reality where you have to use air to pump up a comfortable place to sleep in the back seat of your vehicle. This is where the country is. This is where the world is, family. This is where the world is. Now, I know a lot of you are just kind of in that mode of thinking, well, oh no, it'll never get that bad, or oh well, no, I won't ever have to do that, or oh no, I'll always have a relative where I can go and lay my head. I'm seeing more and more where people don't even have a relative who's willing to open up their doors for whatever reason. I'm not going to say that the relative is wrong, because you never know how many bridges a person has burned either, right? You never know what kind of demons a person got sitting up in them, right? We've heard the stories of folk, and as a matter of fact, a very good close friend of ours had a son who allowed someone to move in with him. The person didn't handle their business, didn't do what they were supposed to do, didn't live up to their part of the bargain. So they decided to kill the person. So of course you can't just let anybody in. Anyone who was willing to take the life of a person who helped them, of course you definitely have to be careful who you let into your home or into your life. The point of the matter is, this economy is so whacked out. I don't care what these politicians say. They're trying to say that things are better than they have been in a long time under the Biden administration. They said the same thing under the Trump administration. But the fact remains, regardless of what's coming out of their mouths, whatever kind of lies they've cooked up at the White House tables, people are homeless. People are struggling. People are crying. People are afraid. And this economy has tanked. I don't care what their numbers say. The reality for some people is that they don't know what they're going to do from one day to the next. They don't know how they're going to eat, how they're going to live. And so to even come up with a solution such as the air mattress for the back seat of a vehicle, in order for them to even make something like this, there has to be a supply and demand situation going on. To the Most High to give us direction on how to navigate through all of this. I've been seeing all kinds of people weeping and moaning and crying about their situation. This is
Okay, any comments on that?
Shalom, everyone. These car air mattresses have been out for a long time. I just think that people now are just, really searching out things like this because times are getting hard, expensive, how expensive the food is, gas, rent, and so forth. So people are having to resort to their car. They're banning people from sleeping in parks now on the streets. A lot of cities, really forcing that. So I know there's this one channel called Van Life or something like that. I don't know. But where she fixed her van up and she's living, out of her van through a lot of support. But these mattresses have been out for a very, very long time. And I think that people are just really searching things like this out because times are, going to get hard. It's going to get rough for us.
Exactly. Right. Yeah. So, and guys, the sales just gonna increase. But the idea of being around, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so anybody else?
Shalom, everyone. Yes, sir. We have purchased. I have one. Of the air mattress that would be in the back of a it can fit in the back of a SUV. They have it just for the back seat only. They have it for it's several of them. They also come with blow up pillows and things like that. In survival, which she didn't say the word, but that's what the tactic is. If I have to get in of the have to go and I evacuate, so hotels and whatever will be filled, I can sleep in my car. I can sleep comfortable and don't have to have back pain or whatever, be really cramped up. I can put this here in my car and I can use it. Or people, like she said, camping. There's a lot of equipment that's being sold. They have been putting those rations in stores now. Just be putting them, yes, sir, everywhere. And if you're not taking heed to it, to see that, just like the gentleman said, about another pandemic coming up, it could be 10 times worse because of the people unaware and not believing that things could come to this abrupt catastrophe that we're not seeing happening. There's so many warehouses being built for what? There's a lot of empty warehouses, so we don't know what's happening and how they're going to, uh, display their tactics, their plans, how they're going to put their plan out. They already have a plan, how they're going to disperse it out and when they're going to disperse it out. These things are coming up. Not everyone is hearing about the mpox. Not everyone's really taking heed to the stores not having all the necessity things. People are still going out buying Gucci bags and all kinds of dress pants and, buying cars and blinging out things. So it's just, it's where the audience is. They are still capitalizing on tangible items that one can just look good, feel good in, but not thinking about, things that they need, not just the things that they want.
Right. Yeah. So it's if you go back, I don't know if anybody remember this or not, but like I said, it's on videos on the channel. But back in like I think it was the around 2012, 2010 up in there when they was finding those body bags. Anybody remember that? The body bags, coffins. They found the big field in Georgia with all
Yes.
the coffins and the body bags. Well, when you understand that these people are, their plans are 50 years ahead of us, Jubilee. So you would think that that's long forgotten, but no, it's part of the plan. We saw the coffins back in like 2012. Well, look what happened since then. Look at the pandemic, all this stuff that happened. And they got another one coming. So those body bags, even they was showing on the trains with the guillotines. They had the guillotines and all that. Everything we see happening is going right in that direction. Like I said, they're not doing that, and and then another way that they work is gradually, where it's not abrupt, and so everything changing around you, but they're doing it in a way where they're doing it gradually, where you look up and you see that something that you was used to be doing just 6 months ago or a year ago, you ain't doing no more. The whole environment has changed. That's how they work. But like I said before, when you look at where they at compared to where we at, 2012 ain't no time. There was people finding coffins, those plastic coffins, by the hundred thousands in these different fields around America. Matter of fact, the coffin, those plastic coffins are so big, you can get 2 or 3 people in one coffin. And they was ordering all those body bags. People were showing the receipts from all those body bags. The government was ordering ammo. So look what's happening now. All that stuff is leading right up to that. It ain't going nowhere. It's just that's how we so quick to forget the things that was presented to us and don't keep on applying them to Rex 84 and King Alpha playing. All that stuff is in play. That's where they work. That's where they heading toward. Yeah. Okay. So, any comments or questions on that? Let me see what we got right here. Right, digital system is coming full effect, and there will be no more cash. Right, all that stuff is playing out right in front of us. But like I said, the way they doing it is gradually. Like I said, look at the difference in the world today from what happened in 9/11, and then after that, the pandemic, they slowly closing in the walls on us, but the way they doing it is gradual, and so you ain't really, it's not abrupt for people to just go all out in the streets and start panicking. They're gradually doing it. Yeah. So with that being said, I'm opening up for some Q&A, questions and comments. Anybody have any dialogue? Something they saw, they want to talk about, question they heard, something they heard on YouTube or they heard on Prophets of Awakening, they want some clarity. Anything you want to talk about?
Shalom. As they're trying to make I found this book when I was out at the thrift store, and it said how the democracy will elect the Antichrist. And in it was talking, it's been published ever since 1972. And it's saying similar things what's going on. And it's saying that they're going to unite all the countries together and try to make it all as one. And for a temporary peace and prosperity would come about. And they mention in the currency and the money how things will happen and who all is going to be connecting together. This Antichrist, which is for me in the audience, is something made up, something that they got from Revelations that with this New Testament about this Antichrist thing, and it's talking about the four beasts, or it's talking about one of the beasts.
Okay. So who the author?
His name is cannot pronounce it. So it's Arno, Arno Fosse, Foese.
Okay. Okay. Anybody else have anything?
Yeah, and it's okay.
Go ahead. What you say?
Yeah. The subtitle was "The Ultimate Detail of Freedom, Liberty, and Justice According to the Bible." That's the subtitle on it.
Okay. Okay. Anybody else have anything they want to bring out before we move on?
Yes, sir. I just wanted to mention something of about the brother that mentioned about the digital system, right, is coming.
Right.
Like you said, they just kind of sprinkle a little bit here and a little bit there, but it has been out when I was traveling more with my job. This was about maybe 4 years ago or so, and we were in Maryland, and they were not taking cash in some of the establishments that we went into, right? And in some places would say, we have no change and we not taking any change. You know what I'm saying? So the things that they put in place, it's already here. It may not be in your city or a city near you, but it's already here in place, because like I said, in Maryland about 4 years ago, it was already there. So, and one more thing, Sunday, I was on a little trip, and coming home, and I don't know if anyone else has saw this, but I saw a Dollar General market, and I'm thinking, okay, market, like what's in this market? So curiosity, I stop and I go in, and they are like a little neighborhood Walmart, if you have those in your city. And they were selling chicken and beef stew meat, and hamburger meat, all the things that you would see in your corner convenience store. This Dollar General had, and that was just so strange to me, because I had never seen that before nor heard of it. So I just think we're going to see a lot more things coming down the pipe. And what I thought about when I saw the meat and all that is like this 3D meat, all the stuff that they're injecting in the meat. Here they are selling it in Dollar General. You know what I'm saying? That was my first thought. But yes, a lot of things are already here.
Right. Yeah, the guy was just he just mentioned about the market outlet. So I ain't never heard of those, but they supposed, from what he's saying, they are supposed to be all over the place. You ever seen one?
No, sir.
I
Not
don't know
yet,
if
shall
you,
I say. Yeah.
I don't know if you online or not then, but yeah, it says market outlet. And that's the first thing I thought about was that Dollar General.
Mm-hmm.
And that they got the market in green.
Yes, exactly. The Dollar
Okay,
General
so
sign says DG, which is black like Dollar General with the yellow background, but market is in green.
right, right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, keep your eyes open for that. Anybody else? Okay. So with that being said, uh, let's go into our topic, which is in the First Kings. I'm gonna start reading at chapter 16, verse 28, and it's about when Ahab came on the scene, started reigning over Israel, which is the 10 tribes, over the northern kingdom. Okay, so I'm in First Kings chapter 16. Let me get it. Uh, chapter verse 28 says, so Omira slept with his fathers and was buried in Samaria, and Ahab his son reigned in his stead. And in the 30th and 8th year of Ahaz, the king of Judah, began Ahaz to reign. Well, Ahaz, the son of Omira, to reign over Israel. And Ahab, the son of Omira, reigned over Israel in Samaria 20 and 2 years. And Ahab, the son of Omira, did evil in the sight of the Lord above all that was before him. Okay, so it's saying that Ahab, Omira was wicked. His daddy was wicked as hell, but he said he outdid his daddy. But I want to show you something I think a lot of people don't know. Like I said, it debunks the lost ten tribes. So if you go to let me see, Second Kings chapter 17, I think it is. Yeah, right quick before we get started reading this. It's Second Kings chapter 17, I think it is. Yeah, chapter 17. You notice that in verse 21, this is when the Assyrian army came into the land of Israel. It says, verse 19, chapter 17, verse 19, and also Judah kept not the commandments of the Lord, their God, but walked in the statutes of Israel, which they made. And the Lord rejected all the seed of Israel, right? It's the 10 tribes, and afflicted them and delivered them into the hands of spoilers until they had cast them out of his sight. So these spoilers is the Assyrian army, the Assyrians, right? 21. For he rent Israel from the house of David, and they made Jeroboam the son of Nebat king, and Jeroboam drove Israel from following the Lord and made them sin a great sin. For the children of Israel walked in all the sins of Jeroboam, which he did, and they departed not from them until the Lord removed Israel out of his sight with the 10 tribes, as uh, as he had said by all his servants, the prophets. So was Israel carried away out of their own land to the land of Assyria, right? And to this day. So then you go to verse 24. And the king of Assyria brought men. See this? So he took all the Israelites out. They didn't come in and destroy the cities. They came in and got the people out. Everything else is still intact. And then in 24, and the king of Assyria brought men from Babylon. Look at this. These ain't Israelites. Men from Babylon, from Kikut, from Ava, from Hamath, from Seraphim, and placed them. This go over a lot of people eat. Placed them in the cities of Samaria, instead of the children of Israel, and they possessed Samaria and dwelt in the city thereof. So he brought these heathens, Gentiles, and placed them in the cities from different countries, different nations, different lineages, put them in the cities of Israel. The 10 tribes it was there. These ain't Israelites. So you gotta understand that. That's why there's so much wickedness going on there too. Because these people ain't Israelites. Okay? You gotta keep that in mind, especially when you get to what they got in the New Testament. Because them ain't no them people, the woman that JC's supposed to be talking to at the well, the Samaritans, them ain't no Israelites. We know that in the book of Obadiah, Esau came in and stole the land when Antiochus came and ran the Israelites out. So now what you got there is a mixture, Edomites and these people here. That's when the land of Israel that was ran out in 70 AD. Okay, anyway, let's go back to where I was at. I'm in 1 Kings 16, verse 31. And it came to pass as if they hadn't been ran out right here yet. Right? It says, and it came to pass as if it had been a light thing for him to walk in the sins of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, that he took a wife, Jezebel, the daughter of Ethbaal, king of the Zidonians. See that? So this woman, Jezebel, it shouldn't surprise you why she's so wicked. She ain't no Israelite. See that? She's a Zidonian. She's a cut off of the Philistines, right? And went and served Baal and worshiped him, right? It says, and he reared up an altar for Baal in the house of Baal, which he had built in Samaria. See that? Now everything should start making sense, right? And Ahab made a grove, and Ahab made a grove, and Ahab did more to provoke the Lord God of Israel to anger than all the kings of Israel that were before him. In his days did Hiel, the Bethelite, build Jericho. He laid the foundation thereof in Arabia, in Abram, his firstborn, and set up the gates thereof in his youngest son, Segub, according to the word of the Lord, which he spake by Joshua, son of Nun. So anybody familiar with that last verse in Kings chapter 1 Kings 16 says, in the days that Hiel, can't say that name, the Bethelite, built Jericho. He laid the foundation thereof in Abram, his firstborn, and set up the gates thereof in the youngest son, Segub, according to the word of the Lord, which he spake by Joshua, son of Nun. Anybody familiar with that? Know anything about it? Yeah, so I'm not gonna go find it, or somebody else might can find it. But it's when they conquered Jericho, Joshua sent out a curse, sort of like a curse. That any man that rebuilt Jericho is gonna be cursed. So here it is right here. That's why they mentioned it right here in 34. In the days of Hadad, the Bethelite built Jericho. So that's right here telling you that he wicked as hell. He laid the foundation thereof in Abram, his firstborn, and set up the gates thereof. And in his youngest son, Segub, according to the word of the Lord, because the Lord had told Joshua to do what he did and say what he said. And any man that rebuilt Jericho is going to be cursed. Say, and he spake by Joshua, the son of Nun. So you go check that out. All right. So anyway, we're going to go to chapter 17. And Elijah, another thing, 34 and verse 34, see that Bethelite built Jericho? That's Bethel. Remember what Jacob laid his head down on a rock and saw the ladder going up to heaven. Okay, anyway, chapter 17, verse 1. And Elijah, the Tishbite, who was of the inhabitants of Gilead, said unto Ahab, as the Lord God of Israel liveth, before whom I stand, there shall not be dew nor rain these years, but according to my word. And the word of the Lord came unto him, saying, Get thee hence, and turn thee eastward, and hide thyself by the brook of Cherith that is beyond Jordan. And it shall be that thou shalt drink of the brook, and I have commanded the ravens to feed thee there. So he went, and he did according unto the word of the Lord, for he went and dwelt by the brook of Kidron that is before Jericho. And the ravens brought him bread and fish in the morning, and bread and flesh in the evening, and he drank the brook, but he drank of the brook, right? And it came to pass after a while that the brook dried up, because there had been no rain in the land. So here go another example, like I was telling you about, like divide who Lord of Hosts is and who Yahweh is from these stories. Like, so right here, I showed you in the beginning, it says he created animals, the creeping things and all that. Well, who created them? Who did that? When you get to Egypt, the Lord of Hosts showed up in Egypt, right? What are you doing? He manifesting frogs. He manifesting what they call those locusts, boils, all that. So he the one created them. So look right here with Elijah. This ain't Yahweh. It says, and the word of the Lord came unto him, saying, Get thee hence, and turn thee eastward, and hide this. This Lord talking to Elijah, and hide thyself by the brook of Kidron, that is before the Jordan, right? So, what's the difference in the Jordan and the Nile? He the one created both of them. So look at what verse 4 says. And it shall be, he telling him, it shall be that thou shalt drink of the brook, and I, just like he told Moses, go take the Israelites down by the Red Sea. I'm going to get the Pharaoh. I'll bring him down here. Same thing right here. I have commanded the ravens. See that? Why? How can he command the ravens? He the one created them. I have commanded the ravens to feed thee there. So he went, and he did according unto the word of the Lord, and he went and he dwelt by the brook of Kidron that is before the Jordan. And the ravens brought him. That's like he told him. He told Moses, I'm going to bring the Pharaoh there, and he brought him and drowned him in the brook right here. He told Elijah, I'm going to bring these ravens, and they're going to bring you something to eat. See that? And the ravens brought him bread and flesh in the morning, and bread and flesh in the evening, and he drank of the brook. Come on. Thinking like a Hebrew. So verse 8, and the word of the Lord came unto him, saying, Arise, get thee to Zarephath, which is beyond the Zidon, and dwell there. And behold, I have commanded a widow woman there to sustain. Here you go again. He commanded a widow woman. So let's go back and look at that. Who came and put Adam to sleep and took the wheel by the maid woman? Come on. See that right here. I commanded a widow woman there to sustain thee. So he arose and went to Zarephath. And when he came to the gates of the city, behold, the widow woman was there gathering of the sticks. And he called unto her and said, Fetch me, I pray thee, a little water in a vessel that I may drink. And as she was going to fetch it, he called to her and said, Bring me, I pray thee, a morsel of bread in thy hand. And she said, As the Lord thy God liveth, I have not a cake, but a handful of meal in a barrel, and a little oil. Check it out. A little oil in a cruse. And behold, I am gathering 2 sticks, that I may go in and dress it for me and my son, that we may eat it and die. And Elijah said unto her, Fear not, go and do as thou hast said, but make me therefore a little cake first, and bring it unto me, and after that for thee and for thy son. For thus saith the Lord God of Israel, the barrel of meal shall not waste, neither shall the cruse of oil fail until the day that the Lord sendeth rain upon the earth. And he went and he did according to, and she went and did according to the sayings of Elijah. And she said, and she and he and her house did eat many days. So let me read that again. So it can firmate. It says 12. And she and the Lord, and she said, As the Lord thy God liveth, I have not a cake, but a handful of meal in a barrel, and a little oil in a cruse. And behold, I am gathering 2 sticks, that I may go in, dress it for me and my son, right? Dress it for me and my son, that we may eat and die, right? So that's a predicament. But look what Elijah tell her. Be the prophet. Elijah said unto her, Fear not, go and do as thou hast said, but make me therefore a little cake first, and bring it unto me, and after make for thee and for thy son. For thus saith the Lord God of Israel, the barrel of meal shall not waste, neither shall the cruse of oil fail until the day that the Lord God sendeth rain upon the earth. And she went and did according to the sayings of Elijah, and she and he and her house did eat many days, right? And the barrel of the meal wasted not, neither did, we just been looking at all the things they say coming on us, right? Okay. And the barrel of meal wasted not, neither did the cruse of oil fail, according to the word of the Lord, which he spake by Elijah, right? Then it says, and it came to pass after these things that the son of the woman, the mistress of the house, fell sick, and his sickness was not sore, was so sore that there was no breath left in him. And he said unto Elijah, What have I to do with thee, O thou man of God? Art thou come unto me to call my sin into remembrance, and to slay my son? And he said unto her, Give me thy son. And he took him out of her bosom, carried him up unto the loft where he abode, and laid him. Look at this. Remember the other story about the Levite that was coming to the lady daughter house, and they decided to add a room onto the house for him. They seen he came that way all the time, so they decided to build an addition to their house for him when he come that way. So right here it says, and she said unto Elijah, What have I to do with thee? Okay. O thou man of God, art thou come unto me to call my sins to remembrance, or to slay my son? And he said unto her, Give me thy son. And remember what he told her earlier. He told her to make the cake for him first. You're going to see how it pay off right here. And she said unto Elijah, What have I to do with thee, O man of God? Art thou come unto me to call my sins to remembrance, and to slay my son? And he said unto her, Give me the son. And he took him out of his bosom, carried him up into the loft where he abode, and laid him upon his own bed. And he cried unto the Lord and said, O Lord my God, as thou also brought evil upon the widow with whom I sojourned by slaying her son. And he stretched himself upon the child 3 times, and cried unto the Lord and said, O Lord my God, I pray thee, let this child's soul come into him again. right? And the Lord heard the voice of Elijah, and the soul of the child came unto him again, and he revived. And Elijah took the child and brought him down out of the chamber into the house and delivered him unto his mother. And Elijah said, see, thy son liveth. And the woman said to Elijah, now by this I know that thou art a man of God, and that the word of the Lord is in thy mouth. In thy mouth is truth. Gotta look that from me. That was chapter 17. Anybody got any questions, comments on that?
Shalom. Now,
Okay.
at this time, they were in a drought for the drought was there. So when he said until it rained, so they didn't mention it rained. So was there like a full year before it rained? Because all this time her vessel was continuing to be filled with the oil, and the other one with the wheat. So it's probably been like a year or so
Well,
within
I think it's 3. If I'm not mistaken, it's 3 years. The whole
3 years.
time, the whole time, all this stuff going on with Elijah, it ain't. It's after they died, I think that the rain came.
Oh, okay.
So it's something to be gathered out of this. So right here with this woman, and her dealings with Elijah, it's when it's a drought that the Most High then calls Elijah to bring, right? So as long as the drought there, he covered. But you bring it to fast forward to today, it's when it's what we know coming. We're gonna be covered. But like I said before, the Lord of hosts is not gonna leave you without uh somebody that's he sent.
Yes, sir.
And
And
you have to be able to figure that out.
yes, sir. And
Right.
so as he left, when the Lord sent him away from where he was at and brought him to where the widow was at, there was
Right.
famine 3 years. So he saved someone in a place that he was leaving from, his home place, to somewhere new, correct? To where,
Right. So when we started the story out, uh he sent Elijah to the brook, right?
yes, sir.
And the ravens fed him. So when the ravens started bringing food and the brook dried up, he already had the widow woman waiting in the pocket. He sent Elijah there. See what I'm saying? So when he say
Right.
do
Yes,
something,
sir.
all you gotta do it. He already got everything else set it up.
Come on.
Like Elijah just told her. Yeah, you got a handful of meal left, but make meal cake first and see what happens. Come on.
Yes, sir. And that's just putting the Lord.
Yeah, ain't that something? And
And
the
now she
other
knows he was not by.
well, the other story that we tell, we went to lady and her daughter. They said they noticed that the Levite kept coming through there, and every time he came through, everything was happening good. They was being blessed. So they came. The Most High, like I said before, he told Moses, "You go down to the river. I'm gonna bring the Pharaoh down there." So the Levites started coming through there, right? Dealing with them. They see what the Most High doing, cause the Levite. Then the Most High put it on their mind. Build them a house, build them an addition on there. So it's on them where they adhere to what the Most High telling them. There's a reason for it. Like right here, she was in a bind. She had a little bit of meal left, and the Most High sent Elijah, and then told her what to do. She did it, then not knowing her son was gonna die. But he got Elijah there. Elijah revived him. So when you do what he said, he weighed over our head. All you got to do is That's why it says you got to be able to discern what's in your head and what's not, and who bringing it, and all you got to be able to discern that. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Brother Leonard, look in Joshua chapter 6, sir. Jericho
Okay.
destroyed.
Okay.
when you spoke of the curse. Um,
Right.
maybe started at 6 and 24, sir.
Okay. Say, and they burned the city with fire, and all that was therein, only the silver and the gold and the vessels of brass and iron, they put into the treasury of the house of the Lord. And Joshua saved Rahab the harlot alive and her father's household and all that she had, and she dwelled in Israel even unto this day, because she had hid the messengers which Joshua sent to spy out Jericho. And Joshua adjured them at that time, saying, "Cursed be the man before the Lord that raises up and buildeth this city Jericho. And he shall lay the foundation thereof in the firstborn, and in his youngest son shall he set up the gates thereof." So that was prophecy being fulfilled over there where I just read. So like I said before, you got people hollering about, let's have a Bible study. But how you gonna have a Bible study? They go example right there. You know how many people reading that and ain't connecting them dots on that?
Yes, sir.
You see that? So prophecy being fulfilled right here. He just spoke it right here. Joshua spoke it. So that makes Joshua a prophet. So you say, what are you talking about? Well, look how they twisted up the lie when they said the Most High said he's going to raise up a prophet like it under Moses. They're going to prophet right here. Joshua prophesied right here. Joshua adjured them. This is Joshua 6:26. Joshua adjured them at that time, saying, "Cursed be the man before the Lord that raises up and buildeth this city, Jericho. He shall lay the foundation thereof." He prophesied. So thereof in his firstborn. Check it out how personal it gets. His firstborn and his youngest son shall he set up the gates thereof. Now let's go back over here. Look at this. 17, verse 34. 1 Kings 16, verse 34. In his days did Hathor, this is the man that Joshua was talking about, Hathor the Bethite, builded Jericho. Now check it out. And he laid the foundation, same thing Joshua said, thereof, and here you go. Abram, his firstborn, see how precise it is? And he set up the gates thereof, and his youngest son, Sergio, according to the word of the Lord. See there now I want to show you something. Okay, it says, according to the word of the Lord, which he spake by Joshua. See that? So that make Joshua a prophet. And that's the prophet he's talking about, that he's gonna raise up like in Jericho. Like under Moses. But they want you to think it's JC. See that? Okay, so where we at? 1 Kings 18?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and it came to pass after many days that the word of the Lord came to Elijah in the third year, saying, "Go, show thyself unto Ahab, and I will send rain upon all the earth." And Elijah went to show himself unto Ahab, and there was a sore famine in Samaria. And Ahab called Obadiah, which was the governor of his house. Now Obadiah feared the Lord greatly. Okay, who do you think that Obadiah is? Okay, for it was so when Jezebel cut off the prophets of the Lord that Obadiah took 100 prophets and hid them by fifties in a cave and fed them with bread and water. And Ahab said unto Obadiah, "Go in unto the land, unto all the fountains of water, and unto all the brooks, peradventure we may find grass, and save the horses and the mules alive, that we may lose not all the beasts." So they divided the land between them to pass through it. And Ahab went one way by himself, and Obadiah went another way by himself. And as Obadiah was in the way, behold, Elijah met him, and he knew him, and he fell on his face and said, Art thou that, O my Lord Elijah? And he answered him, I am. Go, tell thy Lord, behold, Elijah is here. And okay, and he answered him, and I go tell my Lord, okay, I read that, and he said, What have I seen that thou wilt deliver thy servant into the hands of Ahab to slay me? And the Lord, as the Lord thy God liveth, there is no nation or kingdom whether my Lord have not sent to seek thee. And when they said he is not there, he took an oath of the kingdom and nation that they found thee not. Okay, anybody catch that? Go back up to verse 8. And he answered him. So this Elijah talking to Obadiah. Ahab was looking for him to kill him, right? Okay, so it says, he answered him, verse 8, I am, go, tell thy Lord, behold, Elijah is here. And he said, What have I seen that thou wouldst deliver thy servant into the hands of Ahab to slay me? That don't ring a bell for nobody? It don't ring a bell? Go to the Garden of Gethsemane. Huh? Verse 9. So this Ahab is looking to kill Elijah. Just like they looking to kill JC. This is where they got the story from right here. So Obadiah come across Elijah, right? And he said, verse 8, he said, Answer him, I go, and tell thy Lord, behold, Elijah is here. Who his Lord is? Ahab. Ahab is Obadiah Lord, right? 9, and he said, What have I seen? Obadiah talking, that thou would have, this is Elijah talking to Obadiah, and he said, What have I seen that thou wouldest deliver thy servant into the hands of Ahab to slay him? Go to I can't think his name, Judas and JC at the Garden of Gethsemane. Okay, that is front of 10. And as the Lord thy God liveth, there is no nation or kingdom whether my Lord have not sent to seek thee. And when they said he is not there, he took an oath of the kingdom and the nation that they found thee not. And now thou sayest, Go tell thy Lord, behold, Elijah is here. And it shall come to pass, as soon as I am gone from thee, that the Spirit of the Lord shall carry thee whither I know not. And so when I come and tell Ahab, and he cannot find thee, he shall slay me. But I, that servant, fear the Lord from my youth. Was it not told, my Lord, what I did when Jezebel slew the prophets of the Lord, how I hid 100 men of the Lord's prophets, by 50 in a cave, and fed them with bread and water? And now thou sayest, Go tell thy Lord, behold, Elijah is here, and he shall slay me. So let's break that down, because I don't want to skip over this. So we know what happened in the New Testament with Judas Iscariot, right? We know all that's fictitious. So when you looking right here, this is the same Obadiah that's got the book Obadiah. That's another reason why we know he had more than one chapter. They just put in there what they wanted to put in there. But this is the same Obadiah right here that's got the book of Obadiah. Like I said, all these men existed at the same time, around the same time, but they want you to think they didn't. So it says, this is how it's supposed to go with prophets.
and men of God. Verse 8, chapter 18, verse 8. And he answered him, he said, so Ahab, this wicked ass king that's over the nation, or the southern, over the northern kingdom, want to kill Elijah, right? So, and he answered him, verse 8, he answered him, I am, go, tell thy Lord, go tell Ahab, behold, Elijah is here. And he said, Elijah told him, what have I seen? What have I seen? Go back to what JC said on Garden to Judas, that thou wouldest deliver thy servant into the hands of Ahab and slay him. So Elijah is assuming that Obadiah is a wicked ass prophet. So let's look how it play out. Verse 10. As the Lord thy God liveth, there is no nation or kingdom whether my Lord have not sent to seek thee. So this Obadiah telling Elijah, Ahab just sent people everywhere. They sent him all over the place, every nation looking for him, right? And when they said he is not there, he took the oath of the kingdom and nation that they found thee not. And so that's what he's saying. Obadiah said, I took an oath to the Lord that he find you not, right? 11. And now thou sayest, now here come Elijah, assuming that he a wicked ass prophet, and now thou sayest, go tell thy Lord, behold, Elijah is here. So did 12. And it shall come to pass, as soon as I am gone forth from thee, see that? He's telling you, he's saying that if I run back and do like Judas Iscariot did, and go tell him where you at, he already know the Lord gonna take him somewhere else where nobody don't know where he at. And then it's gonna turn on him. Let's look at it. And it 12, and it shall come to pass as soon as I am gone from thee, from Elijah, that the Spirit of the Lord shall carry thee, whither I know not. See that? And so when I come and tell Ahab, and he cannot find thee, he shall slay me. See that? That's how it's supposed to go. But I, thy servant, I'm the servant of Elijah, right? But I, thy servant, fear the Lord from my youth. Was it not told my Lord that I did? No, say, he telling Elijah, was it not told my Lord Elijah what I did when Jezebel slew the prophets of the Lord, and how I hid 100 million of the Lord's prophets by 50 in a cave and fed them with bread and water? And now thou sayest, now he calling Elijah out, and now thou sayest, go, tell thy Lord, behold, Elijah is here, and he shall slay me. Okay? Let that friend make. So anyway, so he had to check Elijah. I'm not your average everyday prophet. You don't know what I did? So to break that down, let's go to verse 13. Was it not told, my Lord, what I did when Jezebel slew the prophets of the Lord, and how I hid 100 million of the Lord's prophets by 50 in a cave? So go back to the story. When on Mount Carmel, and Elijah brought the fire down and burned up the sacrifices, burned up the false prophets and all them, and then Jezebel wanted to kill him, and he ran and hid in the cave. He thought he was the only prophet left. But while that was going on, this is what the Lord did with Obadiah. In verse 13, was it not told, my Lord, what I did when Jezebel slew the prophets of the Lord, and how I hid 100 million of the Lord's prophets by 50 in a cave? So Elijah wasn't even aware that he thought he was the only prophet left. He thought that Jezebel had killed all the prophets. So what prophets is he talking about? The prophets that Jezebel killed, all of them had sons. Obadiah took their sons and took them in the cave. They were sons of prophets. They were prophets also, but they were sons of prophets. Jezebel killed the daddies. Obadiah took the sons and hid them in the cave by 50s. Okay, just for you to know that. Okay, anyway, chapter 18, verse 15. And Elijah said, as the Lord of hosts liveth, before whom I stand, I will surely show myself unto him today. So Obadiah went to meet Ahab, and he told him, and Ahab went to meet Elijah. And it came to pass when Ahab saw Elijah, that Ahab said unto him, art thou he that troubleth Israel? So go back to JC now. Say 18. And he answered, I have not troubled Israel, but thou and thy father's house, in that ye have forsaken the commandments of the Lord, and thou hast followed Balaam. Now therefore send and gather to me all Israel unto Mount Carmel, and the prophets of Baal 450, and the prophets of the grove 400, which eat at Jezebel's table. Right? And so 20. So Ahab sent unto all the children of Israel, and gathered the prophets together unto Mount Carmel. And Elijah came unto all the people and said, how long halt ye between two opinions? If the Lord be God, follow him, but if Baal, then follow him. And the people answered him not a word. Then said Elijah unto the people, I, even I only, remain a prophet of the Lord, but all prophets are 450 men. So let me break this down, because this big right here. So this right here for the big mouth Negroes, they talking about the Lord thy God is one God. So let's look at it. 22. And Elijah said unto the people, I, even I only, remain a prophet of the Lord. But Baal prophets are 450 men. Now, is Elijah the only one prophet left?
Of the Lord of hosts.
Is he the only prophet left in
He-
Israel?
He's the only
Let
Lord
me
of hosts, but there's other.
Let me read it again. Then said Elijah unto the people, I, even I only. See that? Negroes want to focus on that only. I, even I only, remain a prophet of the Lord, but Baal's prophets are 450 men. So is Elijah the only prophet left in Israel? No. We just saw
No.
here. He's talking to Obadiah, ain't he?
Yes, and he mentioned
Verse
400.
18. Yeah. So he ain't the only prophet left. And then Obadiah just told him, I hid prophets in the cave by 50s. He ain't the only prophet left. And that ain't the meaning of that anyway. That ain't what that means. So let's go back. Verse 20. So Ahab, let me go back a little more. Let me see. Go to 18. Chapter 1 Kings 18, and I'm gonna start at verse 15. And Elijah said, as the Lord of hosts liveth, we know who that is, Michael, Lord of hosts, or the Most High's army. As the Lord liveth, behold, before whom I stand, I will surely show myself unto him today. So Obadiah went. See that right here? Here goes another prophet right here. Obadiah. So Obadiah went to meet Ahab and told him, and Ahab went to meet Elijah. And it came to pass when Ahab saw Elijah, that Ahab said unto him, art thou he that troubleth Israel? And he answered, I have not troubled Israel, but thou and thy father's house, in that ye have forsaken the commandments of the Lord, and thou hast followed Balaam. So let's go look at that, what he said. He said, Ahab and his father's house, right? Let's go back to chapter 16, and we go to verse 21. Chapter 16, verse 21 of 1 Kings. Omira reigned over Israel. That's Ahab's father. Okay, verse 21. Then when the people of Israel divided into two parts, half of the people followed Timnah, son of Gidnah, to make him king, and half followed Omira. But the people that followed Omira prevailed against the people that followed Timnah, and the son of Gidnah. So Timnah died, and Omira reigned. In the 30th and first year, Asa, king of Judah, began Omira to reign over Israel. So they go to, he talked about. He told Elijah, is telling him, you and your father's house is the one. I'm not the one troubling Israel. You and your father Omira is the one troubling Israel because y'all wicked as hell. So I'm in verse 17, chapter 18 of 1 Kings says, and it came to pass when Ahab saw Elijah that Ahab said unto him, art thou he that troubleth Israel? And he answered, Elijah answered him, I have not troubled Israel, but thou and thy father's house, Omira, in that ye have forsaken the commandments. They ain't keeping the commandments no more of the Lord. And thou hast followed Balaam. So here you go, right here, 19. Now, Elijah talking. Now, therefore, send and gather me all Israel unto Mount Carmel, right? Now here you go. That's the point I want to shine light on. And the prophets of Baal, 450, right? And the prophets of the groves, 400, which eat at Jezebel's table. So what grove he talking about? Let's look at it. Go to Genesis 18. Hold that. Go to Genesis 18. I want to break this down. So go to Genesis 18, right? Genesis 18. I'm always going here. So we'll be in Genesis 18, right? This is when the three angels came to Abraham. It says, and the Lord appeared unto Abraham. Like I said before, this ain't Yahweh. The Lord ain't under Yahweh. It's the Lord of hosts. So the Lord appeared unto him in the plains of Mamre, and he sat in the tent door in the heat of the day. So you say, why you going here? Well, the plains of Mamre. Mamre is a giant. And he ain't just no regular giant. He's a direct descendant from one of the sons of Anak. You got different cuts on the giants. Those ones, you got the huge ones or what Joshua the spies saw. They saw the three sons of Anak, right? Then you got the giants that came after them, which was they had the ITE on the end of their name. They got a different cut. They're not as tall and as big and as dominant as the other one. So Mamre is one of these giants cut off of Anakim. So look at what it says. And the Lord appeared unto him in the plains of Mamre. So that's a place where Mamre lived at, in the plains of Mamre. And he sat in the tent door in the heat of the day. So he said, what are you talking about? Well, when these men, they glorified these giants and these fallen angels. And where they would meet them at, they'll make a grove. They'll build a grove there and they'll make a shrine and all that where that place at, and start worshiping that area where they met the giant at. Right? So this is where Abraham at. He's in the plains of Mamre. And he sat in the tent door in the heat of the day, and he lifted up his eyes, and he looked, and lo, three men, angels. Yahweh ain't in the story. The three men stood by him, and when he saw them, he ran to the tent door to meet them from the tent door, and he bowed himself toward the ground and said, my Lord. See that? You go to Lord right here. Same Lord that came to Adam. He says, my Lord, if now I have found favor in thy sight, pass not away thee from thy servant. We're gonna keep on going. We're still dealing with the grove, right? And I will fetch a morsel of bread, comfort ye your hearts after these angels. After that ye may pass on. For therefore ye come to your servant. And they said, do as thou hast said. They, These three angels told Abraham, so, do so, as thou hast said. Now here you go. 6. Abraham hastened into the tent unto Sarah and said, make ready quickly 3 morsels of fine meal, knead it, make cakes upon the heath. Now here you go, right here. The grove, what I'm telling you about. And Abraham ran into the herd, fetched the calf tender and good, gave it unto the young boy, and he hastened to eat it. Now here we go, verse 8. And he took the butter, the milk, the calf, which he had dressed, and set it before them, and he stood by them under the tree. See that? And they did eat. So just like Abraham them dealing with these angels, those people dealing with these angels. And where they meet them at, they make a grove. You gotta go Google it and see what a grove is. They make a grove and they eat it. So now let's go one more place before I go back to where I was at. So you can get the gist of what's going on. So you go to Isaiah 66. Isaiah 66, right? Let's look at it. Okay. Isaiah 66. And it says this right here. Chapter 17. It's the future deliverance of the Israelites. So I'm going to start at verse 16. 15. 66 and 15. For behold, the Lord will come with fire and with chariots like a whirlwind to render his anger with fury and his rebuke with the flames of fire. For by fire and by his sword, right, will the Lord plead with all flesh, and the slain of the Lord shall be many. So right here, verse 16. For by fire and by his sword. So who got a sword? Is that Jesus? Or is that Yahweh? There ain't but one entity that we know got a sword. So he says, for by fire and by my sword will the Lord plead with all flesh, and the slain of the Lord shall be many. Now here go the hook. 17. They that sanctify themselves, purify themselves in the garden behind a tree. See that? In the midst, eating swine's flesh, and the abomination of the mouse shall be consumed together, said the Lord. See that? I had to connect them dots for you. So anyway, yeah. So that's what it is. That's going over a lot of people's head because they're not understanding what's actually going on. Because these Edomites took that understanding out the story, right? So where was that? Verse where was that? Chapter 18?
Yes, sir. Chapter 18.
Verse okay, yeah.
You were speaking of the groves. Yeah.
Yeah, I did that. So 8, chapter 8, 1 Kings 18 and 8. And he answered him, I am. Go tell the Lord before Elijah is here. I read that already, okay. And he said, come and pass. I'm in verse 12. Come and pass, and as soon as I am gone from thee, that the Spirit of the Lord, I already read all this. Okay, let me see.
Down to 20, sir.
Contest at Mount Carmel. Yeah, verse 20. So Ahab sent unto all the children of Israel, gathered the prophets together unto Mount Carmel, and Elijah came unto the people, and he said, how long has the halt ye between two opinions? If the Lord be gone, follow him. But if Baal, so this right here, Baal is what Elijah told him to gather in verse 19. Now, therefore, gather to me all Israel unto Mount Carmel and the prophets of Baal, right? See that? 450. And the prophets of the groves. See that? So, like I said, when you understand what a grove is, they worship in Baal. Up here in verse 21. And Elijah came unto all the people and said, how long will you halt between two opinions? If the Lord be God, follow him. That's Michael. But if Baal, then follow him. And the people answered him not a word. See that? So these prophets of the grove is worshiping Baal. They got groves set up. all over the place to Baal. So you say, what are you talking about? So if you see the grove, they dealing with Baal. He ain't no fictitious character. They dealing with him. If a grove out there, that's where they met him at. And they set up a grove where they met him at, just like Abraham met the Lord under a tree, and they ate. Anyway, so 22. Then said Elijah unto the people, I remain the prophet of the Lord, but Baal's prophets, see that? Baal's prophets are 450 men. Let them therefore give us 2 bullocks, and let them choose 1 bullock for themselves, and cut it in pieces, and lay it on the wood, and put no fire under it. And I will dress the other bullock, and lay it on the wood, and put no fire under it, right? And call ye on the name of your God. See that? Lowercase. It's angels. These angels. So they real. So like I said, just like the Israelites dealing with their Lord, he coming to them, he dealing with the prophets, they sit down and eat, he making cakes and all that. These people dealing with their Lord. Okay? So anyway, he says, call upon the name of your God, and I will call on the name of the Lord, and the God that answered by fire. So let's look at that. What Abraham was on Mount Horeb, right? Let's look at it right quick. We got time. We're in Exodus chapter 3, right? Let's look at it. So the Israelite God answered by fire, right? So we in Exodus chapter 3, verse 1. Now Moses kept the flock of Jethro, his father-in-law, priest of Midian, and he led the flock to the backside of the desert, came to the mountain of God. This ain't Yahweh, right? Even to Horeb. Verse 2. And the angel of the Lord appeared to him. See that? Yahweh ain't on the mountain. It's an angel on the mountain. Now let's watch what the angel do. And the angel of the Lord appeared unto him in the flame of a fire out of the midst of the bush. Now let's go back to him, back over here to Carmel. So now it says 23. 1 Kings 18, verse 23. Let them therefore give us 2 bullocks, and let them choose 1 bullock from themselves, and cut it in pieces, and lay it on the wood. Put no fire under it, and I will dress the other bullock, and lay it on the wood, and put no fire under it. Now, 24. And call ye on the name of your gods, and I will call on the name of the Lord, and the God that answered by fire. See that? See that what it said? Capital G. 24. And call ye on the name of your gods, and I will call on the name of the Lord, the God, capital G. This is where they hoodwinking us at. This ain't none of Yahweh. The God that answered by fire, and let him be God. And all the people answered and said, it is well spoken. So we already know the God is with fire. He came to Moses, the angel came to Moses on Mount Sinai and appeared to him as a flame of fire. This ain't none of Yahweh. And the damn show ain't JC. So anyway, let's keep going. 25. And Elijah said unto the prophets of Baal, choose you 1 bullock for yourselves, and dress it first, for ye are many, and call on the name of your gods. See that? But put no fire on him. So let me break this down for the naysayers. So he said, and call on the name of your gods. So what gods? Let's go to Genesis right quick. To the serpent and Eve. Serpent and Eve, right? So look at it right quick. So yeah, here we go. Chapter 3 says in verse 3, chapter 3, verse 3, verse 2. And the woman said unto the serpent, right? This Samuel is his name. That's a title. That's a pronoun. Serpent, but he's an angelic being. Samuel, that's his name. So, and the woman said unto the serpent, we may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but the fruit of the trees which are in the midst of the garden, God hath said, ye shall not eat of it, neither shall you touch it, lest ye die. Then verse 4, and the serpent said unto the woman, ye shall not surely die. Then verse 5, for God doeth know that in the day that you eat thereof, your eyes shall be opened, and ye shall be as gods, angels. See that? Knowing good and evil. These angels. Same thing over here. That God mean the same thing. Elohim, angels. 200 came down in the book of Enoch. Gods. Okay, anyway. Let me see. I'm in 25. And Elijah said unto the prophets of Baal, choose ye one bullock for yourselves, and dress it first, for ye are many, and call on the name of your gods. See that? 70 of them. When the Most High divided the earth up during the time of Peleg and Joktan. Okay? Negroes fumbling with that. But put no fire under it. And they took the bullock which was given them, and they dressed it, and called on the name of Baal from morning even until the noon, saying, O Baal, hear us. But there was no voice, nor any that answered, and they leaped upon the altar which was made. And it came to pass at noon that Elijah marked them and said, cry aloud, for he is a God, right? Either he is talking, or he is pursuing, or he is in a journey, or pre-adventure, he's sleeping, and he must be awakened. And they cried aloud, and they cut themselves after their manner, with their knives and their latchets, till the blood gushed out upon them. So see, they require blood sacrifices. Go to JC with the cat of nine tails. It ain't adding up. So anyway, 28. And they cried aloud, and they cut themselves after their manner with knives and latchets, till the blood gushed out upon them. And it came to pass when the midday was past, and they prophesied unto the time of the offering of the evening sacrifice, that there was neither voice nor any to answer, nor any that regarded. Now here we go, verse 30. Elijah said unto all the people, come near unto me. All the people came near unto him, and he repaired the altar of the Lord that was broken down. And Elijah took 12 stones, according to the number of the tribes of the sons of Jacob, unto whom the word of the Lord came, saying, Israel shall be thy name. And with the stones he built an altar in the name of the Lord, and he made a trench about the altar as great as would contain 2 measures of seed. And he put the wood in order, and cut the bullocks in pieces, and laid him on the wood, and said, fill 4 barrels of water, and pour it on the burnt sacrifice or the wood. And he said, do it a second time. And they did it a second time. And he said, do it a third time. And they did it a third time. And the water ran round about the altar, and he filled the trenches as with water. And it came to pass at the time of the offering of the evening sacrifice, that Elijah the prophet came near and said, Lord God of Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, let it be known this day that thou art God in Israel, and that I am thy servant, and that I have done all these things at thy word. Then hear me, O Lord, hear me, that this people may know. So this is what has happened now, because they fumbling with JC, right? So we says 38. Then the fire of the Lord fell and consumed the burnt sacrifices, the wood, the stone, the dust, and it licked up the water that was in the trench. And when all the people saw it, see that? That's what these Negroes got to do. They got to see it, right? And when all the people saw it, they fell on their faces, and they said, the Lord, hear me? The Lord, he is God. The Lord, he is the God. And Elijah said unto them, take the prophets of Baal, and let not one of them escape. And they took them, and Elijah brought them down to the brook of Kidron, and slew them there. Okay, I'm gonna keep reading to this end of the chapter. And Elijah said unto Ahab, get thee up, eat and drink, for there is a sound of abundance of rain. So Ahab went up to eat and to drink, and Elijah went up to the top of Carmel, and he cast himself down upon the earth and put his face toward his knees, and said unto his servants, Go up now, look toward the sea. And he went up, and he looked and said, There is nothing. And he said, Go again 7 times. And it came to pass at the 7th time that he said, Behold, there arises a little cloud out of the sea, like a man's hand. And he said, Go up, say unto Ahab, Prepare thy chariots, and get thee down, that the rain stop thee not. And it came to pass in the meanwhile that the heavens were black with clouds and wind, and there was a great rain. And Ahab rode and went to Jezreel. And the hand of the Lord was on Elijah, and he girded up his loins and ran before Ahab to the entrance of Jezreel. There it is right there. So like I said before, ain't no JC in the story. Yahweh in the story. We see what God Israel is. That's our dilemma right today. They gave us a fictitious God. So we got to call the God of Elijah. Same God that dealt with Moses. Came in the cool of the day to deal with Adam. That's who we got to call. Until we do that, we're going round and round in circles. So JC ain't the God over Israel. He ain't got nothing to do with the Israelites. That's what's coming. That's what's in the wind. Okay? Any questions, comments? That was we stopped at chapter 18. So we'll stop at chapter 19 or First Kings. Well, we'll pick it up tomorrow on that. Anybody got any comments, questions?
No, sir.
Okay, yeah. So like I said before, that's our dilemma. But like I said, it's approaching real fast that we're gonna find out who the God of Israel is. It's coming. It's day coming. Okay. So with that being said, we say shalom, shalom, and another shalom. I'll see y'all tomorrow for our tonight. Shalom.
Shalom, everyone.